Someone pays for their morning coffee with a credit card that promises 2% cash back on every purchase. They feel like they're getting a small, guaranteed discount on literally everything they buy, essentially free money for using the card they were already going to use anyway. That cash back genuinely does show up in their account exactly as promised. But that money didn't simply appear from nowhere, and it isn't coming out of the credit card company's own profit margin the way it might feel like it should be. It's coming from somewhere specific, flowing through a system most cardholders never see, and in a meaningful sense, the coffee shop and the person paying in cash standing right next to them are the ones actually funding it. It's a strange thing to picture, that the small reward showing up in one person's account might be quietly connected to a slightly higher price the person behind them in line just paid. Two customers standing at the same register, experiencing two completely different sides of the exact same transaction. Cashback rewards feel like a straightforward gift from the credit card company, a loyalty incentive designed to make a specific card more attractive than competitors offering less generous terms. And that competitive framing is accurate as far as it goes. Card issuers genuinely do compete for customers partly through reward generosity. But according to research published by payment industry analysts and Federal Reserve studies on interchange fees, the money funding most cashback and rewards programs originates primarily from fees charged to merchants every time a card gets swiped, fees that merchants bill directly into the retail prices charged to every customer, including customers who never use a rewards card at all. This distinction matters because it reframes rewards from a pure gift into something closer to a redistribution mechanism, one where the specific people benefiting and the specific people funding it are rarely the same, and rarely told clearly that the connection exists at all. Let's start with the basic mechanics of how a typical card transaction actually generates revenue, because the money flow involves more parties than the simple two-party relationship between cardholder and card issuer that most people picture. Every time a credit card gets used for a purchase, the merchant doesn't receive the full sale amount. A percentage typically ranging from roughly 1.5% to 3.5% gets deducted before the merchant ever sees the money, split primarily between an interchange fee paid to the cardholder's bank, a smaller fee to the payment network like Visa or MasterCard, and a processing fee to the merchant's own payment processor. The technical process works like this. Interchange fees, the largest component, get set by the payment networks, but collected by the card-issuing bank, and cards offering more generous rewards programs are frequently assigned to higher interchange fee categories specifically because that higher fee revenue is what funds the more generous rewards being offered to that card's cardholders, creating a direct, mechanical link between how generous a specific card's rewards program is and how much that card costs merchants to accept. This is where an invisible cost-shifting mechanism takes over, one that most cardholders never see explained anywhere on their reward statement. Merchants generally can't set different prices depending on which specific payment method a customer uses to pay, partly due to card network rules and partly due to the practical difficulty of maintaining separate price lists for cash, debit, and different reward tiers of credit cards. So the interchange fee cost gets absorbed into a single retail price charged uniformly to every customer regardless of how they pay. This means a merchant's overall interchange costs, averaged across their entire customer base's mix of cash, debit, and various reward credit cards, get baked into the price tag everyone sees, whether that specific customer is paying with a premium rewards card, a basic debit card, or cash pulled directly from a wallet. There's a related invisible mechanism tied to how this cost-shifting distributes value unevenly across different customers, one that economists studying interchange fees have documented extensively. Because prices reflect an average interchange cost across a merchant's entire customer base, customers who pay with cash or basic debit cards, which carry meaningfully lower interchange fees, end up paying the same elevated price as customers using premium rewards cards, effectively subsidizing the rewards earned by cardholders using higher fee cards, without receiving any rewards themselves. This creates a documented redistribution pattern where research has found that, on average, lower-income households are statistically more likely to pay with cash or debit cards rather than premium rewards credit cards, meaning the aggregate effect of this system tends to transfer value from cash and debit users toward rewards card users, a pattern that runs opposite to the direction many other consumer subsidy programs typically flow. Two real-world patterns make this concrete. Federal Reserve research and academic economic studies analyzing interchange fee data have consistently estimated that the price increase merchants pass along to cover average interchange cost amounts to a measurable percentage of retail prices across the broader economy, with some studies estimating this hidden cost at somewhere in the range of 1% to 2% of total consumer spending, effectively functioning as an invisible tax embedded in prices that funds the visible rewards, benefiting a subset of cardholders. A second pattern shows up in merchant behavior directly. where some retailers, particularly in industries with thin profit margins like gas stations and some grocery chains, have publicly offered cash discounts or added credit card surcharges specifically to recoup a portion of interchange costs directly from card-paying customers. A practice that has become more common and more explicitly disclosed following regulatory and legal changes in several jurisdictions that clarified merchants' ability to pass these costs along transparently rather than absorbing them silently into a uniform price. This challenges the common assumption that credit card rewards represent a pure, costless benefit generated by the card issuer out of competitive generosity, with no real trade-off or hidden cost anywhere in the system. In reality, a meaningful share of every rewards dollar earned traces back through interchange fees to higher retail prices paid by the merchant's entire customer base, including customers who receive no rewards benefit at all. The friction point isn't that rewards programs are secretly fraudulent. The cashback genuinely does get paid as advertised. It's that the underlying cost structure funding those rewards operates through a redistribution mechanism largely invisible to both the cardholders benefiting from it and the cash-paying customers effectively subsidizing it, with neither group typically receiving a clear explanation of how the two are actually connected. Zoom out. And this same visible benefit funded by an invisible cost spread across a broader group pattern shows up in other pricing systems built around similar cross-subsidization. Airline loyalty programs function on a related structure, where mileage rewards funded partly through ticket pricing get concentrated disproportionately among frequent, often business-class travelers, while occasional leisure travelers paying the same base fares receive comparatively little benefit from the same underlying pricing structure. Insurance risk pools operate on a comparable logic in reverse, where healthy policyholders effectively subsidize the claims costs of sicker policyholders within the same group, a redistribution most participants never consciously calculate, even though it's a foundational, necessary mechanism of how insurance pooling works at all. What ties all of these systems together isn't the specific industry. It's the presence of a visible, well-marketed benefit sitting on top of a much less visible cost-sharing arrangement. One that would probably prompt a very different reaction from at least some participants if it were ever explained to them in plain, direct terms rather than left to be inferred from a footnote or simply never mentioned at all. So the next time cashback appears in an account after a purchase, it's worth remembering what that reward actually represents within the broader system generating it. It probably isn't free money conjured by a generous card issuer absorbing the cost themselves. It's more likely a small redistribution flowing through interchange fees embedded in retail prices, funded in part by every other customer at that same register, including the ones who paid in cash and walked away with no reward at all.